Hello everyone, my name is Paul, CFO of Millennium Games Invest, and I will guide you today through the Q4 and 2021 highlights. To start right away with the transformation which MGI has done in 2021, so we transformed from a games company which was started in 2012 much more into an ad software platform which enables content developers to monetize their advertisement space as well as allows them to drive further user acquisition for their content. With that, we achieved a 252 million revenues in 2021 with a very strong underlying EBITDA of 71 million, with a strong revenue growth of 80%, with a strong underlying organic growth of 38%. Nowadays, we are more than 800 employees within the MGI group, where more than 55% is actually tech employees. And we have more than 400 software clients driving more than 100,000 annual revenues on the platform, where 94% of our software revenues is coming from blue chip companies. And a net dollar expansion rate of 172% for all our software clients, which increased their wallet share on our platform, and therefore we're growing organically through our ad tech stack. That is combined with a very strong global reach. So we delivered more than 411 billion ads in 2021. We are now connected to more than 1.7 billion connected devices and have more than 250 million daily active users which we reach through our ad platform. That is combined with a very strong first-party content access to more than 5,000 own games which we have on our platform, as well as more than 20,000 connected mobile apps which are fully integrated through an own SDK of third-party publishers. And at the same point in time, we have more than 100 million own gamers, which we can reach through our platform in our own games. Looking at the revenues by region, here we see that 69% is now coming from North America, which is by far our biggest market, while 19% is coming from Europe, where of just 1% or less than 1% actually is coming from Russia. Looking now into some major events in the fourth quarter, and here we see that we acquired the Match2One demand-side platform. We also onboarded AppLovin's Max solution, which gives us massive access to further games content. We also activated the PubMatic's ID5 solution, which further increases our reach in a privacy-centered way, and as well as also partnered with Kubient to further reduce ad fraud and increase transparency on our platform, and at the same point in time also announced the license of Fractured, the MMO, as well as the mobile RPG Fantasy Town, and also launched more than 90 casual games, which further fueled our ad platform in the fourth quarter of 2021. Looking now to the fourth quarter financial highlights, and here we see that we have shown a very strong revenue growth of 65%, paired with an underlying 36% organic revenue growth, where we saw a very strong EBITDA growth of 131% and an even stronger EBIT growth of 232%. Overall, the margin has improved massively from 21% EBITDA margin to 29%, with also a very solid underlying EBIT margin of 24%. The operating cash flow with 31 million is higher than the 23 million EBITDA which we have achieved in the fourth quarter. The reason for that is a working capital effect which was negative in the first 9 months of the year and has balanced out over the year. Overall, we saw therefore also very strong cash conversion in the fourth quarter and overall 2021. Looking now into the long-term financial development, and here we see that we have achieved 252 million revenues with 71 million EBITDA and a very strong EBIT of 55 million, while we have grown with a CAGR of 77% in the last 3 years. They have been able, on a group perspective, to increase our EBITDA margin from 20.8% to 28.2%, which is due to the scaling of our existing software clients, as well as further margin improvements also on our games content. Looking now into some growth KPIs, so where's the growth of MGI coming from? What we see on the left upper side is in the end the transformation, which I mentioned in the beginning, from a games company where the majority of the revenues were coming direct from consumers, now much more into a software company, where now, as of today, 69% of the revenues of the group are coming from software clients, and just 31% is direct to consumer. The 69% also includes advertisement and own games, but therefore is fully automated ad tech revenues. Looking now into the ad impressions, here we also see a very strong organic growth from 15 billion ad impressions in Q1 2020 to now 87 billion in Q4 2021. And on top, then we also did the Smaato and the Liquid acquisition, which also further have accelerated the ad impressions growth. And therefore, we ended the year with 173 billion ads for the full group in the fourth quarter 2021. The strong revenue growth is actually also accelerated and supported by a strong increase in new software clients. So we have grown our software clients by 410% year on year from 102 to 418, where we saw from all the software clients a strong net dollar expansion rate of more than 170%, while also the retention rates with 95% is really high on our software clients, and 94%, as mentioned earlier, is generated in terms of the software revenue from the big blue chip clients. So we really have been a very trusted platform these days. Looking now into the cost structure, how it has developed over time. Here we see that the purchase services, which mainly reflects traffic and technology cost, have remained stable, while we have decreased the personnel cost from 17 to 13% as a percentage of revenues. The R&D costs have decreased from 11 to 9%, and the other operating expenses have decreased from 13 to 10%, and therefore we have increased the EBITDA margin from 21 to 28%. While important to mention here as well, the majority of the expansion capex, so 56% of the R&D, is really expansion capex, so further investments into further organic growth. Looking now into our operating cash flow and capex development, here we see that we have grown our operating cash flow to more than 65 million now in 2021, with a very strong underlying free cash flow of 55 million, and that's achieved as we have a limited maintenance capex of 10 million for the further development of our IP-owned games, and then drive further expansion capex for further organic growth, especially on the ad software platform. And on top also have done 2 very large acquisitions with Smaato and KingsIsle, which have led to the further increase in expansion capex in 2021. Looking now into the actuals versus guidance of 2021, here we see also that we have achieved a revenue of 252 million, which is at the upper end of the target of 234 to 254 million revenues, while on the EBITDA side we have outperformed the target by roughly 1 million. With an achievement of 71 million, while the upper end have been actually at 70. So therefore, very strong revenue and EBITDA results for the year 2021. That brings us actually to the guidance for 2022. And here we guide a revenue of 290 to 310 million revenues, with an adjusted EBITDA of 80 to 90 million. And here it's important to mention that we have an impact due to the discontinued affiliate and influencer marketing activities of roughly 20 million. And therefore, the growth of 15 to 23%, which we see here, is largely coming from organic growth, because the M&A revenues, especially looking at the Smaato acquisition, has been set off by the discontinued operations, and therefore that's more reflecting organic growth, which we see here. Looking at the EBITDA, here we see also that the margins are more or less remaining stable, and that's because we also want to hire much more people in 2022 to further fuel and support our long-term organic growth for the coming years. And that actually brings us to the end of the presentation, so I would like to thank everyone for their interest and for listening in. Thank you.
Since you watched this company video until the end, I'm guessing you liked the video. That's probably because we work very hard to create the most engaging and value-added content possible for you. If you're a stock-listed company or corporation and want to find out how we at C11A can make a company video with and about you, please email us at community@c11a.com.